All right, Dr. Bolden, we are live. Are you ready to kick this thing off?
I am more than ready.
Let's do it.
KTTV, giving you what you need. Motivation, education unleashed. H-Town representing, we forever keep it rolling. Join the conversation with inspirational stories. Thought-provoking, feel that energy. Kendrick Thomas aiming to lift the community. True indeed, tune in, come and see. Giving you what you need. KTTV, let's go. Hey, KTTV. Hey.
What do you do, KTTV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live with another episode of Education Unleashed. And on tonight's episode, I have, I'm going to still put it in here. We got the principal. She in Fort Bend. She represents Fort Bend, but she still representing that lead. Ooh. So, Dr. Felicia Bolden, how you doing tonight, Dr. Bolden?
I'm doing well, excited to have this opportunity, and let's dig in.
Hey, I'm with you. All right, so I always like to kind of give everybody a rundown of how the show gonna go. Of course, you all know we have our format. So we got our rapid fire. We're gonna catch Dr. Bolden. She's gonna have to drop them answers on us. But also my favorite part, where we get to highlight just an outstanding educator. And Dr. Bolden, I have been getting educators all over the city of Houston, whether it's Sci-Fair, Aldine. And so tonight we will head out to Galena Park and celebrate one of the teachers out in Galena Park. So I'm looking forward to it. All right. So before I do jump into the interview, I always like to catch a good news story to just show that stuff be happening out here. And so the story that I looked at, it talked about let me see if I can find this one more time here. Yeah, it talked about a district, it's a Baker School District, right? And so they have a school system of about 1,700, and they are in Baker City, Oregon, which is a small city in Eastern Oregon. So do you know what the kicker is, Doc?
No, you're going to have to educate me on that tonight.
Doing 23, the teachers made $38,000 a year. Wow. When the last time you made $38,000 a year?
Ooh, like 1999?
I'm saying. And so, as we know, I guess salary is one of those things that that's our recruitment piece, right? That's our retention piece. And so many times if we don't have that, and so you think about everything going up, inflation. And so it was a teacher, what was her name? Okay, it doesn't say her name, but it says she was determined to do something about the salary. So she went on a crusade. She enlisted, let me see. She enlisted all of the community. She enlisted the entire board, all of the union members. And so they got together, put all of the documents, I guess everything they needed. That next year, all of those teachers in their district got a 15.7% raise.
Wow.
So now everybody getting paid $60,000 at least a year.
Right. That's true servant leadership. Definitely.
Yeah. And so the thing I always say is, what happens when we all band together for the right thing for education? I remember a few years ago, we would just know that in Texas, it's going to be a Republican anyway. And so we said, let's get the best Republican that set out for education, which means we all got to go vote. You know how HD was pushing stuff. And so, man, I remember I showed up to that Republican booth, and then people say, man, you're in the right place. Because they just couldn't believe I was going, but it was like, okay, it's not about the side or the aisles right now. Who's going to make the best decision for our field, our career, and for that pocketbook coming up? So I just wanted to share that before we get into our interview tonight, to just say, look, y'all, what happens when we come together? Them people went from 38,000 to 60,000. What you think about that, Doc?
I think that's amazing. That's someone who cares for not just themselves, but for a bigger cause, right? And if we don't have people to teach our kids, I mean, we're already feeling it with shortages in the classrooms. What's going to happen to our future? I always think about my grandbabies and great grandbabies that are not even born yet. Like, what's going to happen to their educational life if we don't have people in the trenches that's willing to fight right now?
Most definitely willing to fight. Okay, so what we'll do now, tonight, I'm very excited. We get to talk about leadership. We get to talk about culture and climate, but also building that capacity in the people who help, right? Our teacher leaders, right? So that's one big thing I'm looking forward to. So what we'll do, quick break. When we come back, it's going down.
Okay.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the
All right, y'all, we are back with my guest, Dr. Felicia Bolden. All right. So, Doc, I want to say again, thank you for taking some time out of the busy schedule. Unlike A-Leaf, everybody else still at work. I ain't trying to throw you under. So we had a nice day off today, but I know that you were grinding it out. So once again, thank you for taking a step away for at least a good hour for the leadership, to come on and share with us tonight. So before we do jump in, I like to do a wellness check because we know it's crazy out here. So how have you been? And how have you been maintaining that balance between home and work?
Wow, that is a great place to start because out of the 11 years that I've been an administrator, the last 7 principal, I think this is the very first year where I am truly practicing what I preach and having that balance in boundaries. But it took a minute for me to look at my systems. What can I take off my plate? What can I push back? Because I have to be good for not only myself, but my family as well. So I am definitely not the person that parties all the time. Like I love me a good nap. I do watch some reality TV because I don't have to solve anybody else's problems. So you have to find, what works for you. And of course, my faith, I'm always thinking about how I can serve others and how can I be my best self from a place of service. So I do take more time for me this year.
Man, that is so powerful. I don't know where did it come in to where we said, we just got to grind. We got to hustle. Like they say, the hustle culture. Like where did that come from to that we feel like if we not burned out, we not making progress?
We are. Right. We're unpacking generational issues with that grind and that hustle and always having to work because, some of us never want to go back to where we came from if we want to be truthful. And that's my story. That's my testimony. I'm sticking to it.
Hey, look, whatever it takes.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. And now, so for the people that don't know, can you give us a little bit of background on your educational journey and a little bit about your current role that you're in right now?
Wow. My journey extends way back. I've always been an educator. I started teaching in 1999 with that very low salary. Actually, it was about $24,000. I did 5 years in Louisiana. And while I was there, I always knew from a kid that I wanted to be an administrator, I wanted to be a principal. I had the best principals ever, right? So then I decided to venture out. My husband got transferred. We ended up in Houston, and A-Leaf was my stopping place. I was in Italy for about 12, almost 13 years before I went over to Fort Bend and just loved teaching. Like I have a natural love for instruction. I was mostly in the elementary setting. I did a year in middle school and I did do some years in intermediate. So across the board, I've taught all content, all grade levels, and I have a natural love for research. Ask a lot of questions. I'm always digging around, finding things that I probably should not find, but because I'm looking, I find stuff. So I have taught online with Concordia teaching research for over 12 years.
When you said I started in 99, you started in Louisiana? Come on, man. That was the 99 to the 2000.
I sure did.
That was a good year. All right.
It really was.
And you said what level did you start?
My first class was a 3rd grade classroom, and I was the 5th teacher by December. Okay.
Yes. They put the first year teacher in there.
And they put a first year teacher with those babies, and I love them and they love me. Actually, I believe 4 of them are educators now.
So what do you think was the sauce, even in year 1? What you think?
I think it was just that natural love for kids and wanting them to excel and connecting with their families. When you're from a small town, if you get in trouble in class, I can stop to your grandmother's house on my way home and let them know what's going down, and they were so supportive. So that was definitely my upbringing, my stomping grounds. I'll never trade it. Like, that was probably the best year ever. It tested me, right? You either had to get in or get out, but I refused to give up on those kids, and I still love them today.
Ooh, I think back to year one. It was some tests. It was definitely some tests. It was. I had a few kindergartens. I thought I was going to take them out. I was like, I can't take it no more, man.
They were
They
going to
seemed
take you out, right?
one or the other, and they were present every day to do their mission. They did understand the assignment. All right, so now getting into we're talking about the teacher leaders, how this plays into our culture, building that positive organizational culture and climate. And so one of the questions, I guess, of diving right in is, how can schools cultivate that positive culture that would even empower a teacher leader to thrive?
I'm going to answer from an administrator's perspective, right? Because I'm thinking of both worlds. From the admin side, you have to trust your teachers. Even when things are not going well, you still have to make sure that they know you care. As much as you're pushing them, they also know that you love them. And on top of that, you have to have solid systems in place so that any teacher can thrive under your leadership. And I'm a huge fan of distributed leadership. Shouldn't be the only leader in the building. Somebody needs to be looking at math. Someone needs to look at ELA. Someone needs to be my culture climate king or queen. Someone needs to help me with the families in the community. I need someone to help me with that tech piece, right? So I'm very intentional about, when I am working with educators, studying who they are, what they like, what are their triggers, and what drives them. I do a lot of extensive research and observations, and I'm recording that, I'm tracking that. And it's not to use against them. It's truly for me to understand the dynamics of the building or the organization and who are my key players to help me get the job done for kids. So we're going to build teacher leaders. We have to know what they're made of so we can align them and put them in the right place so that they can be successful to help our students.
Most definitely. And when you're thinking about the learning, gathering that data, you know how we did like the true colors? Do y'all do something like that over in Fort Bend?
Absolutely. I just did it with my staff. I actually do it every year, and I am a diehard green. Okay.
Just got to see the big picture.
Big picture, visionary. I don't like a whole lot of small talk. Let's get down to business and get it done. And I had to learn that everyone is not a Felicia Bolden, and it's okay. So we did True Colors as well, and I definitely utilized that resource to make sure that I'm lining key people up with what's needed for the campus and for the students. Still holds true today.
And when you think about what it takes to build that culture, coming from your experience, if you had to name one element that contributed the most to that supportive culture for our teacher leaders, what would you say that element was?
Put your pride aside. No building is going to be perfect. And you also have to help everyone understand that we all are culture. We all bring something inside of a building or an organization that's going to either positively impact the culture or negatively impact the culture. And what we have to do as leaders is realize that when we understand what people need and we build that trust, everything's going to be okay.
Most definitely. Most definitely. But like you said, big trust. That's the biggest part, right? When I think about hiring, I always think about, in my head, it says, hire good people, trust them to do their job, give them what they need, and then leave them alone. And get out the way. But those three things have to happen for that person to really thrive. And I think I've been trying it for the last few years, and so far so good. You know, I think about my high school team now, vets, right? So the biggest thing I do, I know that they're equipped. I try to give them what they need, checking in, what you need, what you got, and then I'll see you. I'll just come in class. Sometimes it's with no book. Sometimes I just want to see you work. But I think the biggest part is that's that trust piece.
And we have to be willing to coach our teachers and the people that we serve. And that has to be organic. It can't be forced, right? You work on the relationship first, you earn that trust, and then you get in and you coach. Sometimes it may be on the spot, sometimes it may be role playing later or check in, but you have to let people know that everything that you're doing is, from a pure heart, from a place of servantship, because I want you to be successful.
Mhm. And what are some of the strategies that you would use, let's say, when you're building up the capacity inside of that teacher leader?
Oh, wow. My favorite of all time is video coaching. I started out with a mentor program in A-Leaf way back when, right? And then I went over to Fort Bend, got connected with SIPME, and this is not a sales pitch. This is a true testimony. Got connected with SIPME and started rolling out video coaching with my teachers. It was amazing. The one thing that I realized, even in my leadership role, until you hear yourself and see yourself, you really won't buy into what anyone else is saying because you haven't had a chance to see yourself from the outside in. And I'll even take it back to Kafele, one of my best speakers of all time. I still credit him for the reason why I'm an administrator. I would study him every weekend, even before he started doing the Saturday sessions. And he would have that mirror out and talk about looking in the mirror. And I started videoing myself during interviews, like practicing, because I wanted the job so bad, not realizing that it was so much more, that comes with that job. And I interviewed 9 times. I'm like, okay, what is it in me that I'm showing up that I'm not getting this job? What is it? Some people will say, oh, it's just not your time. You're great. No, I want to be the best. So what is it about me? And when I started watching those videos, it was like, oh my God, the biggest aha moment. I had to work on my speech, my mannerisms, the way I appeared. All of those little small details builds who you are and how you show up. And that's so important. So I transferred that experience into my teachers. Hey, I want you to look at you teaching the small group lesson. I want you to self-reflect. What would you do differently? What would you change to meet the needs of that student? How could you improve? And that was game changing. Anybody that I've worked with can tell you that that was a game changer for us. And that's when we really start to see an impact with moving the needle for students.
Yeah. Think about that. What was that, Gym Night? And the
Jim,
book?
I still have
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I was going through T-test, and so just doing that work and just trying to understand that power. So, bringing out articles that talk about coaching, trying to relate it to sports coaching, not like the I got yous, because you have to do it. But like you say, when people get a chance to see themselves, because so many people are so shy and they say, well, I can't look at myself. But once you kind of get them over that part and then they're able to kind of see themselves in the moment, you're right. Like the differences and the changes become so evident, because not only am I on board, but after they see that I'm not just picking, right? And
Bingo.
so, yeah. And so now you say, oh, okay, but you're right. So much better feedback, so much change. Now, being able to even set up a climate and culture of coaching and feedback takes certain, I guess, organizational aspects, right, of a positive culture. And so when you think of building atmospheres like that to get to the coaching, to get to sometimes that hard feedback and conversation, what are some of those aspects that you have implemented within your campus?
Absolutely. Just had a recent experience. I'm actually at a new campus this year. So I'm meeting people, learning people all over again. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to jump in and teach a lesson, even if it's not perfect, because the one thing that's going to happen, you're going to do a very good job, or you're going to do a very good job and you're going to have some mistakes along the way. And you and that teacher or educator can sit back and laugh at those mistakes and talk about what you would do differently, because we're all human, right? So as a leader, you definitely want to make sure that you set time aside to model what you expect, but then you also have to go back and inspect what you expect. So that's very important as well.
Most definitely. That's the motto. Inspect what you expect.
Yep.
Okay, new campus this year. Still elementary?
Still, I love elementary. I'm trying to stay in elementary as long as I can.
And so now when you come in, you think about those new leaders coming. For instance, we got a new principal this year. Coming in, what does that look like? I guess in the summertime to now, just building that capacity in the teachers. Like, how did you come in and just sit up and show that vulnerability?
All right, I have two scenarios. So the first time, I didn't have time to set up. It was just thrown in. You start tomorrow. Get
Yeah.
ready. You're going to do your onboarding and you're going to go ahead and get in. So I didn't have that time to process and connect in the plan the way I needed to help build that culture. Second time around, I learned from the first time. I said, hey, I know I'm going to this campus. Can I spend at least a day or two prior to me switching roles? Because I want to know the parents. I want to get a feel for the staff. I want the students to see me as someone who's coming in to invest in them. And I spent the entire day on the campus doing the car rider duty, going into the lunchrooms and sitting and just inviting people in to come and have casual conversations. What's going well? What are some things that I need to know? And how can I serve you? And people were honest. They were very truthful in what they wanted and what they were looking for. I don't know if everyone was truly ready for Felicia Bolden, right? But I really took that feedback and I said, let me cater it to what people are asking for, because it's not about me. I know the leadership is important, right? Your name is on everything. But how can I serve my staff, my students, and my community wholeheartedly to earn that trust so we can do the work that we need to do and genuinely care for them and they know and feel cared for.
Yeah. And also coming to that new campus, I guess it's being able to see potential, right? And you say, oh, well, this lady's been here this long. Look, she's so good in this, but she's never stepped up. And so when you think about just even taking it a step back and building up that capacity, what does it look like talking to that teacher saying, okay, well, I'm just getting here. I see you doing this, and I know that you can take it to the next level. How does that work?
From a cognitive coaching standpoint, going in with the lens of not knowing the background, you don't know if that person struggled with their family that morning or the night before, or if they're dealing with an illness, or, what's the true makeup of their class, because a lot of that stuff was done before you got there. So I come from the lens of asking a lot of questions and seeking to understand first. And then once we get over that hurdle, then I may ask them for their input. If they're missing that key piece that I feel they may need from the leadership standpoint, then I'll ask them, hey, are you okay with me coming in and modeling this for you? Or would you like to co-teach a particular concept or lesson? Like, how can I serve you so that we can address what the students need or whatever the deficits are? And I always make sure that my teachers feel that I'm coming in from the partnership standpoint. And I told everyone, and I tell anyone that I work with, my job is to work through those kinks, because when it's time to do the evaluation piece, I want you to win. It shouldn't be a surprise on what you need to work on. So I'm in classrooms every single day. If I'm not in classrooms, of course, those art meetings, they can take up a lot of time. But I'm in those classrooms every single day, walking around with that backpack. How can I serve you today? What do you need help with? Can I work with a small group?
So when the last time you just jumped in there and just, you all on the whiteboard and everything, you're getting ink all on the back of your hand? When the last time you had that chance?
Actually, just Tuesday. Tuesday, I did a guided reading group with kindergartners. Now, mind you, I love 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. So one of my students gave me a run for my money. He was hilarious. Yeah, just
I told you, kindergartners, man, it's a special way.
We were reading about the forums. He's telling me his dad is a rock star. Sir, can you please stop telling your family business?
Yeah, man, please. That's how I go though. Then they bring artifacts, show and tells. Hey, elementary life.
Absolutely.
So now, when you think about challenges, what challenges do schools commonly face in promoting a culture of teacher leadership, and how can these challenges be addressed?
Everyone has to come from a place of collective values. Some educators use the word collective efficacy, and that's something that you have to build school-wide. Everyone's at the table. Everyone's talking about how we're going to fulfill our vision, mission, and values, but also what do we believe when it comes to educating students? And this is the part that I love the most, because you get to sit back and watch all of this unfold. And what I've learned, sometimes staff values are not my values. And as long as it's moving us in the right direction, I have to be okay with that. And I struggle with that a lot, right? Because when you come with a lot of knowledge, I don't know everything. Trust me, I don't. but I know enough to know what I need to do to get to where I need to go. But if your staff is not ready and you're moving too fast, it can cause a lot of friction. It can cause uproar. So you have to take the time out to build those values together. And even when you build them together, that doesn't mean that everything is going to go perfect. Sometimes you got to go back and revisit and recalibrate. And I do that a lot. I really do. My last campus, I was there 6 years. I want to say years 5 and 6. 5 is when I really saw the magic happening. Year 6 is when everything just unfolded in a way that I had not even imagined, because we spent the time investing in people, getting people to stay, finding their groove, like what grade level, what content, matching people up with the right teams. It was a lot of heavy lifting the first couple of years.
But the thing about it is that experience that you get, and when you come out on the other side.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially when you're successful. You just turn back around and like, yeah, I did that. I did that. The good thing is though, and the gift and the curse is when you're good at it, then you got a chance to do it a lot. So
oh yeah. When it's time to move, you're like, I'm not ready yet. I'm just getting warmed up. You're like, nope, you got to do that somewhere else too. So get ready.
Yeah, please. Now, thinking about these teacher leaders getting in the building, the coaching, a lot of that also comes under the mentorship, right? And so as a leader, can you discuss the importance of mentorship in nurturing those teacher leaders to cultivate that organizational culture?
Absolutely. Working in A-Leaf and Fort Bend, even in Louisiana, there were always some type of mentoring program. In Fort Bend, we call it TAP. And it's so important for teachers to hear from their peers. That relationship is already there. It's an even playing field. It's less feeling of judgment, just everyone willing to connect and work because they are already together in the trenches, right? Versus having someone from the outside come in or an administrator trying to mentor you or coach you, but I'm not right there with you every single day. The mentorship is so important because when you have a master teacher, I'm telling you, if I went back into the classroom right now, oh my goodness, it would be amazing because I've seen so much. When you have a master teacher that's willing to pour into someone and help grow and groom them to the next level, that's priceless. You can't put a price on that. That comes with experience, that comes with a natural love for serving another person, and just knowing that you are impacting not only the kids in your class, but you're impacting kids across the hall or even the entire grade level if you take on multiple mentees.
Multiple. And then what about when you want to, let's say, take those teachers to the next level? What advice do you give for teachers who are kind of afraid to break out their shell to even be campus leaders?
I focus on the relationship first because I tell my teachers, guess what? I'm going to throw you out there. So get ready. I start coaching them, start prepping them, get ready because it's going to happen. I'm an avid believer in sending my teachers to conferences, Region 4 trainings. I'm actually signing up for GCASE again. I invited 2 people to go with me. I want them to see beyond the walls. When we work in a school building, I don't know if you feel this way, but it feels like nothing else in the world matters. Like my focus is inside the walls of that building. Everything that happens is inside of the walls of that building. But when I get out and go to conferences and I see different things happening, not only nationwide, but worldwide, it's like, wow, there's so much more that we could be doing. And our job is to expose our teachers to different ways of thinking, different ways of doing things so that we can come back and help our kids be more competitive globally. And that's important. Can our kids compete globally when it comes to college and career?
Most definitely. I think about meeting with teachers, especially like my ILT teachers or my chairs, and getting them to see, because like right then they see the 5,000 feet, but then as you coach and we work together and you get them to see at least 15,000, maybe not the whole 30, but if I can even get you to see 15,000, I believe that builds so much capacity in that teacher and that team, because they're thinking now at least about a little bit more of that picture, if not the whole picture. So like you say, being able to coach, but it all comes from building that relationship, building that trust, and then giving that continuous feedback that works so well.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah. So any last words as we get ready to wrap it up?
Absolutely. You just gave me a thought. I remember when we were going through school improvement and having to implement effective schools framework. in my leadership team, I could feel the energy was off. I'm like, oh, this is not good. They're not liking me right now, but I love them anyway. We got to get this work in. And I remember having everyone leave out of the leadership room. I said, I need y'all to go outside in the hallway. And one of you need to give me your favorite song. And I want you to go back out in the hallway. When you come back in, I want you dancing to that song. And everybody needs to be in sync. Everyone needs to be on point because I need y'all to, make sure that you're a unified front. And it was an Earth, Wind, and Fire song. And I put that song on, and that team came in that leadership room dancing and doing this whole routine. Looked like they were Tina Turner and the Ikettes. I mean, it was beautiful. It was hilarious. But I did what I needed to do to show them, y'all, even though this work is hard, we still could have fun, and we still have to love each other and rely on each other to get the work done. Because at the end of the day, we're held accountable for moving our kids.
Held accountable. And we got to work together. And I guess that's one piece of it. I know the ILT, for instance, when I was at Hicks, ILT did a lot. I remember rolling out Get Better Faster, and we were coaching teachers. And so it was a lot of struggle. Maybe some teachers weren't putting in a lot of the effort. So then it would have to be those crucial conversations, having to just simply back those specialists up. Have you ran into a situation like that? And if so, like, how do you handle those type of situations?
Man, that's been my daily experience for a couple of years now. I had, it's funny that you say that because anytime that I'm invited to speak, I have my books ready. Okay. Woo! I have several books that I go to every single year. One thing that I've learned as an administrator, when I first started out, I was afraid to have those difficult conversations. Now I've gotten to the point, I may start off with, hey, the energy's off today. How can I help you? What's bothering you? You have to be genuine. You have to have that inquiry from a place of, I'm here to help you, and just state what it is. And when people know that you care, they'll listen. They might get upset with you. They might stop speaking to you for about 24 to 48 hours, but you keep loving them anyway. And eventually people do come around and you get to what you really need to talk about and dig into, and you problem solve together. It's not always me coming up with solutions, but what solutions do you have so that I can make sure you're successful? And what do I need to do to help you get to that place?
Yeah, come and go working. Most definitely, Dr. Bolden. All right, y'all, give it up, Dr. Felicia Bolden. I want to say thank you for just dropping some knowledge on us, kind of talking. And so the awesomeness was each time it was through a lens of I've been here, done this. Let me tell you how I did things. So thank you so much for that conversation. Man, I always look forward to bringing that back. All right, so what I'll do, let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to do some rapid fire real quick.
All right.
All right, let's do it.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the
All right, look, I always show them clips because we sell stuff on KTTV.com. So if you have not been there to go get the book, Pencils, Lisa, My Word, Doc, I wrote a book, Doc.
I see that. I'm looking at some of this gear I need to purchase as well.
Hey, look, please go to KTTV.com. We will make sure we get it to your front door within a few days here. Okay. This is what we do. But moreover, we finna get ready to do this rapid fire. So what we gonna do? I got 10 quick questions. I want to shoot them out. Don't think about it because I want the first thing that comes to your mind. Let me do this intro.
Go hard, or go home, go home, go hard, or go home.
All right, you ready for this?
I'm ready. Ready or not,
okay.
Let's go.
Okay, what's your favorite book and why?
Oh, my favorite book. I told you I'm ready. Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek.
Oh, and when you were talking, and we was talking about earlier, I thought about him with the change chart. When you said like when you do, okay, there we go. All right. How do you stay inspired in your work?
Faith. If God is not in it, I don't want to be a part of it. And if he's not a part of it, God protect me through it.
That was a good one. All right, what's one leadership trait you believe every educator should have?
Servant leadership. Serve others wholeheartedly.
Ooh. Share a moment, a memorable teaching moment that shaped your career.
Oh my. A memorable teaching moment. Oh, I took my kids on a field trip. We were in the country, and that was their first field trip. And I took them to the shipyard. We talked about college and career options because some of my babies could not afford to go to college. My job was, how do we get the resources? They were only in the 3rd grade, but I was thinking about years down the line. And we went out and learned the business, how they connected with other businesses across the United States and even out of the country. It was a great experience.
That was powerful. 3rd grade. Look, I did the boys club, and so I would bring in people, plumbers, technicians, taking them to the we were the only elementary school to go to the advanced career center, right? So I'm starting them early, dog. Okay. All right. What's your go-to educational tool? Technical tool?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Your go-to educational technology tool.
Oh, I love tech. Everything, Schoology. Like I started Schoology in A-Leaf. We got it in Fort Bend the first year I was there, and it is definitely a great organizational tool and instructional tool for students and staff.
How do you unwind after a busy day?
Sleep, read, and journal.
Yeah. Oh, journal.
Journaling really helps me to unwind and unpack my day so that I don't take it out on my family.
Now, is it a certain time or did you say, okay, like for me, I got an alarm. I always got an alarm for it, but I never do it. But I always be thinking about it. Is that the way you do it, or how does it work?
Okay, so I'm organized everywhere, even in my personal life. So after I shower up, when I get in bed, my journal's right on my nightstand. So before I end the day, I'm journaling about everything that has happened.
Okay, well, I got to give my game up. If you could change one thing about the education system, what would it be?
Stop the politics. Let's just focus on kids. Like, I have to detach sometimes. Like, why are we fighting about things that are not helping our kids at times? Just stop.
Man, and what they say, the people who make most of the laws about kids never work with them.
Exactly.
All right. What's the most rewarding part of your job?
The most rewarding part is seeing the growth of students and staff, even my parents. As much as I go hard for my kids and my teachers, if a parent is in need, I'm right there with them.
Okay, I got that. Share a piece of advice for new teachers entering the field.
Take your time, take risk, and teach unapologetically. So important.
Teach unapologetic. That was powerful. I like that. Last one. What's your vision for the future of education?
My vision for the future of education is where we get to the place where we are flipping the educational system and stop treating kids like they don't know anything. I think sometimes as adults, we hold kids back and they come ready, and we are scaffolding and lowering the bar when a lot of the kids come through the door ready to tackle the world. If you look at how they're utilizing technology in their personal lives, kids can make things that I could never dream of using technology. What if we flipped it and said, hey, we're going to be learning about, I was a science teacher, the solar system, and let them come in and bring all of the knowledge that they find on the solar system. And now you're the facilitator. We don't need teachers. We need facilitators of learning so that students can really grow and blossom the way they need to grow with the knowledge that they do have.
Most definitely. I agree with that. Well, that was our rapid fire. I think you did an awesome job because once again,
thank you.
Man, you saw Louisiana. Man.
Love it.
All right. So now what we'll do, take a quick break. We'll come back because that was really a great segue because tonight I'm doing the parent teacher corner where I really try to give parents a practical tool that they can use. So last week it was setting up homework. How do we set up homework time to not make it so painful? So tonight we're talking about fostering resilience in students. And so we'll take a quick break, then we'll come back and run that. All right. once again, make sure ATTV.com. We got stuff. All right, so let's jump into our parent teacher corner. Let's do it. All right, on tonight's parent teacher corner, we are talking about fostering resilience. And so for the people that need to know, that means helping individuals, especially our children, develop the ability to bounce back from adversity, challenges, and setbacks. Sometimes we get kids who feel like they made one bad grade, I see it in high school. Oh, the world over, I'm not going to graduate. Tonight is about equipping them with the emotional and mental strength to adapt to those changes and thrive in the face of difficult circumstances. Resilience is not the absence of hardships, but the capacity to navigate through them, to learn from those experiences, and to emerge stronger. You got anything to add on that resilience, Dr. Bolden?
Absolutely. It's how we view failure. Do we look at failure as an opportunity to learn and grow? And as parents, we have to be a safety net for our kids and give them the opportunity to bounce back from whatever it is that they're dealing with. Help give them tools and resources along the way, but teach them that it's okay. Life is not perfect. You're not going to always win, but when you fail, how you respond and react, what matters the most.
What matters the most. I agree with that. What Brother John said, keep up the great work, my poor city. Look, now, I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana, so we're gonna keep this thing going. Yeah, no game, dog. You see, I knew about. I'm old school.
Wait, you're above that gumbo line, though. We're gonna have to have another session.
I am. I didn't have my first whether it was shrimp boil or anything like that until I got the text. I do feel very some type of way. All right. So tonight I got quick 5 practical action steps for parents to help foster the resilience in their children. And so number 1 is encouraging problem solving. So teach your child problem solving skills by involving them in a decision-making process. Allow them to make choices, face consequences. This helps them learn how to analyze situations and make informed decisions. And I think a lot of the times in class, as a science teacher, especially in elementary, we start introducing those PBLs, kind of giving them real life problems. But I don't think that we are encouraging a lot of problem solving from home. Are you seeing a lot of that when you're working with the parents, that they even can kind of foster their relationship of those problem-based learning from outside to inside the school?
Yeah, we do. We have to extend it into the home because as parents, we want to fix it, right? I'm like that with my own kids, but because of my educational background and what I see, sometimes I have to back away and help them solve those problems differently.
Yeah, most definitely. The next one is so very important, especially for elementary, promoting a growth mindset, emphasizing the importance of effort and perseverance over natural talent. Encourage your child to embrace challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. Praise their efforts rather than just their achievements. Woo! That was a mouthful right there, because, man, we worked with growth mindset and we really had kids buying in. And so you can really tell the difference of the effort that they put in, the way that they looked at challenges. But as I get to high school, when things kind of drop off, man, the growth mindset, I don't know what happened. How are you fostering that inside of your school?
It's a struggle when you're dealing with students who are bringing what they have from their home into the school. It's like, how do we get our kids to get excited about what they're learning? And if they have a stumbling block, to say, it's okay, let me try another way, or let me phone a friend, or let me ask someone else. That's why I'm a huge fan of accountable talk, because that's where the growth mindset takes place, when you're able to collaborate, get ideas from other students. And the self and peer assessment is so important, because you can't focus on all of the things that you're doing wrong. You can't always focus on the failures, but what are we doing to bridge that gap and to keep going and to see things in a different light? Collaboration is key in elementary schools, because that's what's going to help them in middle school and high school.
Most definitely. All right, next is foster emotional intelligence. So help your child identify and express their emotions, encourage open communication about their feelings, teach them coping strategies like deep breathing or journaling. Hey, there we go. To manage stress and difficult emotions. Number 4, set realistic goals. Help your child set achievable goals break them into small, manageable steps, celebrate their successes along the way. This builds confidence and resilience. And the last one for this segment is to lead by example. Be a role model for resilience by demonstrating how you handle challenges. And I agree with that because sometimes parents, like you say, kids are coming in with what they got, what they see. And so if I always see mom break down and curse and quit when it gets rough, that's what I know. So share your experiences by emphasizing how you learn from them, because we know that our children often learn through observation.
Yeah, some kids will tell you, I had a kiddo, I'll never forget him, can't say his name, right? We're educators, but he would have meltdowns almost daily, sometimes violent, sometimes not. Hey, what's going on? Well, mama said I can do X, Y, and Z. I understand. At home, that may be acceptable. At school, that is not acceptable. Then I started digging a little deeper. What else is truly going on? Why are you acting this way? Well, the teacher's getting on my nerve. Can I give her a write up? Of course, I'm trying not to laugh, right? So unpacking that and helping students deal with their emotions is very important. We have what we call emotional backpack training in helping students to unpack that and to be comfortable sharing with you what they're dealing with. And then we in turn have to teach them how to rechannel that, how to express themselves using sentence stems and frames so that they can focus on the I feel and I can versus of what happened to me or the victim mentality.
Most definitely. That's very powerful. I like that. You say emotional, or is it backpack or
Mhm.
unpacking?
Unpacking that emotional backpack.
And so what does a session like that look like? Is it certain amount of kids? It's almost like a restorative circle. How does that look?
We do circles. We have done plenty of circles. I also was blessed to have pastors who would come into my campus and work with a group of kids and help them to express themselves. Sometimes our male students don't have the father figure, so just having that male presence alone really helped. And then sometimes our students just need that motherly love. You have to be willing to take the time to sit down and hear them out and help them unpack that. Sometimes we have them write about their feelings. Sometimes we have them act it out, but then we always leave with the solution and what can we do better?
Yeah. Man, and I'll tell you, the things that they probably, once you kind of break that surface, the things that they probably unpacked, because these days kids are going through real trauma, regardless of the age.
Let me tell you, some of that stuff we unpacked, I had to check into Urban Dictionary. So educators, if you want to know what your kiddos are talking about, have Urban Dictionary as one of your favorites. It will help you.
Just to break it down. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, you're right, because they coming straight off the songs now. So you got to get it. All right, I think that'll do it for us with that segment. I want to say I appreciate that input. Parents, remember emotional intelligence. If you could take anything away from that, it would be just talking about emotional intelligence. How do you help your child talk about what they feel? Like Dr. Bolden said, almost push away from that victim mentality into those I can statements, I feel statements, all of those pieces, to be able to verbalize. It was I had one kid the other day. Of course, I'm at the alternative, I'm the ALC. And so the kid felt like the teacher really picked on him, did so much. And it was going to me coaching that student into going to have a conversation with the teacher about things. And so that issue that we were having so much because of that conversation and me showing him how to really just be emotionally intelligent and talk through it, the kid hasn't received a referral for that situation since. So being able to just, build those bridges. Most definitely. All right. So one quick break. We coming back. We'll do our outstanding educator spotlight. And then we're going to land this plane, Dr. Bolden.
Awesome. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. All right, welcome back. We are about to jump into the outstanding educator spotlight. All right, tonight, our outstanding educator spotlight goes to Mr. Damien Drysdale. He's in Galena Park, Cobb 6th grade campus. He is a resource aide. And so he is highlighted by Miss Karina Cedillo, which is his co-worker. And so Miss Karina says, I cannot begin to thank Mr. Drysdale enough for everything that he does on campus for the SPED kiddos. I truly believe he is the hardest working young man of all individuals on the campus. Mr. Drysdale came to Cobb 6th grade campus with the generous and love and support for everyone here. He's known around the campus for his big heart, hard work, positive influence, and the impact he has on the students. In 2022, we lost one of our students, and in that moment, Mr. Drysdale put his emotions of that great loss to the side and made sure everyone on campus dealt with the grief in a positive way. Mr. Drysdale comes in and day out with a positive mindset and outlook on everything. He really is deserving of this award. So Ms. Cedillo, she made a personal message for him, and she says, Mr. Drysdale, thank you for all you do. Cobb 6th grade campus loves you. Awesomeness. Shout out to Mr. Drysdale. Look, I always like highlighting teachers because we know what we've been going through over the last few years. Think about our teacher shortages, think about people turning away from the profession. And so I like to highlight that people still love this thing, y'all. We still in this thing for the right reasons, not just because we work 187 days. Well, some people. Well, not us though. But yeah, but people not in it just because of that. Right? Yeah. They still for the love of the kids, they still show up through adversity, resiliency. So big shouts out to brother Damien Drysdale, Cobb 6th grade, Galena Park. Oh, what's up, squirrel? All right. Anything you want to add to that for tonight?
Absolutely. Mr. Damien Drysdale, if you need a job for 24-25, I'm at Brazos Bend Elementary in Fort Bend ISD. You can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook.
Look, pull up home, man. Look at that. Just real quick like that. All right. Absolutely. Well, I want to say, Dr. Bolden, thank you so much for taking some time out tonight to really share the work with us, be a part of highlighting in our segments. And dropping some good information in that rapid fire. I'm going to look that book up as soon as we get through. And so I'll make sure to share that out. Any final words before we close this thing?
I'm just honored. Thank you for considering me. I try to follow as many platforms as possible. I'm hungry for knowledge, and this is actually a blessing, and I hope that I bless someone else tonight.
Yes, most definitely. That will do it. Look, y'all, Dr. Bolden came through, showed out, Louisiana in the building. Hey.
Wait, you asked me earlier a moment, and my students had started saying hootie hoo, the whole building. So that was a moment.
That was when that Master P dropped.
Absolutely.
Come on, man, for the summer. Oh, hootie hoo.
We had fun.
You know, that'd be the only thing I'd be like, I know Texas kids, they are kind of laid back. And so they are exposed to so much till you know, they just got stuff to do. But I never been inside of a classroom in Louisiana with all the knowledge that I have now to just be able to pull some of those conversations out, because I really want to know, like, what y'all do in Shreveport, Louisiana, and what do the kids talk about when they come to school? I wonder. I'm telling you. But hey, I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to go. I think I'm gonna try this year if we get a break that's off. Not this one, but maybe the next time I'm gonna try to slide down there and go visit the class, because my friend, she's the principal of my high school. So I'm definitely have to pull up. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. B. I appreciate you. I will get this shared out. And just know, anytime you get ready, please come on back.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, this is KT for KTTV signing out. 100.
This is Darnell with Broadcast Houston.
This is Dr. Tamara Beckford.
Hey, this is Candace.
This is London Underwood.
This is Kirsten Bass with Inner City Greens, and you're watching.
Y'all are now tuned in to
KTTV.
KTTV.
KTTV.